Hi! Today we're doing another knitting podcast. Apologies. Bean is right here. We just got a new puppy 2 days ago and she's very big and she will probably sometimes be knocking my camera. Anyway, we're going to follow the regular podcast format. First talking about finished objects and then moving on to works in progress and then future plans and acquisitions. The first thing that I finished making in the last few months, I made the Maybe One Day top. I will have try-on clips. I used a 100% cotton yarn from Hobbii. I used the cotton 8/4 in the black color. This has softened up quite a lot after being washed. I was having gauge issues, or rather my gauge was bigger than the pattern called for, so I sized down 2 sizes, and I think that this fits pretty well. I did make the collar that's included in the pattern initially, but I really didn't like how it looked, and I am enamored with scallops recently, so instead I did scallops around the neckline, scallops on the hem, and I think it's really cute. This is an all-over lace t-shirt garment, and it's worked side to side. You do the front panel and then you do the back panel, and then you work the sleeves separately. Even though it's a summer top, because it's a lace top, I have to wear a tank top or something underneath it so that it's, appropriate for work. And it's summer right now, so it's a little hot to be doing that. So instead, I'm just not wearing it very much. This next project that I finished, which is the Caspar cardigan. I knit this using a yarn that I had recycled from a sweater I got at the thrift store. It's a lace weight yarn. It was knit up using 2 strands held double, and I just continued doing that for this project. It's knit on 7mm needles. I believe the project calls for smaller needles, but I wasn't hitting gauge with smaller needles, so I went up to 7mm. After I finished the sleeves, I decided that I hate V-necks on me, and especially V-neck cardigans. And I knew that with this style of sweater, I would never wear it open. So I sewed closed the front, and then I finished the body, and I did the peplum. And at the end of the peplum, I did more scallops. They're adorable. I also did scallops around the neckline. I had to redo the neckline a few times. I had done it the way that the pattern suggested initially. It was just too loose, and it wasn't like cinching in the neckline at all. I had knitted it once with I think the 7mm needles, then I went down to the 5mm, and then I went down to the 3mm, and it still wasn't looking the way that I wanted it to look. Instead, I single crocheted around the whole neckline, and then I did scallops, and I think that that made it turn out quite nicely. In my last podcast, I showed another sheer sweater that I had made. I made the Colosseum crop out of a white yarn that I got at the thrift store as well, and that one is very warm, even though it has huge holes in it. This one is not very warm, even though the holes in this are smaller than in the Colosseum top. So I don't know what's going on with that, but this is definitely more of a spring-summer type garment. It's not a winter garment at all, for sure. I did wear this to work quite a few times. I got coffee on it. I don't know if you can see that stain. It's right there. I'm gonna have to try and get that out. But I'm very pleased with this sweater. This converted Caspar cardigan into the Caspar sweater. I think it turned out well. That's all I have to say about that. 2 more finished objects. I got this crochet thread from the thrift store. I think this color is really, really pretty. So I made this like skull cap out of it. I really like mesh skull caps just for wearing around my house when I'm home alone. I started at the top of the pattern with that flower. I was following a vintage pattern, but I think I was using the wrong size of lace for it. Everything was turning out too big. So just for the flower, I followed that vintage pattern. And then for the rest of it, I just kind of made it up. And then I added picots to the edge here, which I think is adorable. And I did picots because I can't put scallops on everything. I have to try other finishings as well. I used 3mm hook for this, I believe. I really like this. I wear this a lot. I might need to make another one. Last finished object. I used a free pattern for this, but I did modify it and I can't remember how. But this is another skull cap using the rest of that Hobbii 8/4 cotton that I used for the Maybe One Day top. And this one is quite a bit thicker, so this will probably be more comfortable for like winter. It is quite short. It only reaches the top of my ears, but I think that's how skull caps are supposed to be. I think that this yarn may have been too thick for the pattern because you can't really see all of the intricate details in it, because it is quite a lovely pattern, and like there's petals that like stick up. It's very, very pretty. This one I did add scallops to because I can't be stopped. It was definitely way too big when I first finished it, and then I put it through the washer and the dryer, and now it fits quite a bit better. I think 2 skull caps is enough for me, though they are very fun, quick and easy to make, so maybe I'll end up making more. Moving on to works in progress. None of these were on my needles during my last podcast, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4 whips. I've been making the Cora vest by Chukuru Crochet. This is how far I am. This is just the back panel. I think that it's very, very pretty. I really like how the flowers are constructed. I typically do 1 row all the way through and then weave in my ends. The way that this is constructed is each flower, as you're making it, is attached to the previous flowers on the work. I'm going to make this to be a vest, just like the pattern. I'm just following the pattern. Again, this is the Hobie 84 cotton. This is color 78, and it's a very soft cotton. This one feels softer than the black. The black felt a little bit ropey and maybe a little waxy, and this is just soft, and it already has a fluff before it's even been like blocked or anything. I'm using a 3.5mm hook, and so I'm done the back panel, so I'm just about to start the front panels. It's my first time making one of Chukuru Crochet's patterns, and I've been enamored with her patterns for quite a while, but she put a sale on, and so this pattern was on sale and I couldn't say no. I like most of her designs, but I don't think that I'd wear most of her designs. I think that this is the only one that I'd actually wear, even though I love the look of all the other ones. I don't think I'd actually wear them. And I'm trying to be more mindful before I start a project of things that, like, you can tell before you make a project most of the time whether you're gonna wear it or not. And I don't want to make things that I'm not gonna wear. That's enough about the Cora vest. We will move on to my next work in progress. At the beginning of the month, my sister and I were talking about the ranunculus. I'm pretty sure everybody in the knitting community knows about the ranunculus sweater because like everybody's made it. But if you haven't, it's a circular yoke top-down sweater with lace work around the yoke. It's a large gauge sweater, so it works up really fast. And the designer made it because they wanted the sweater to look like the person was wearing necklaces, and that's what all the lace is. My sister and I were on the fence about whether to actually make this pattern because we didn't really like how it looked like. Recently, I've seen a whole lot of people making summer versions of it, and that made me really want to make it. And so we decided to bite the bullet and get the pattern, and we're gonna make it. Well, she's already made her first one, and I'm almost on the yoke of my first one. This is how it's looking. It's very hard to show. I've already done some modifications to this. I don't like the tuck knitting stitches, tuck lace stitches, so I just started with the second lace repeat, this one. And then I have the flower, oh, can you see that there, where there's like 4 dots there? And then I did the same as this lace repeat down here. And I've just finished that. I only did the short rows in the back because I wanted more of a crew neck instead of a boat neck. And those are the modifications I did so far. I'm gonna make this into a t-shirt type, vest type thing because I don't think I have enough yarn to make an entire sweater out of it. I'm using the leftover yarn from the Caspar cardigan because I still have quite a few balls of that left, but instead of holding it just with the 2 strands of lace weight, I'm holding 4 strands of lace weight, and I'm using my 8mm needles. So that's knitting up pretty quickly, but this is my on-the-go project right now because it fits in this bag, which makes it more portable. My sister really loves this pattern. She wants to make it in every color and every yarn weight. I am not so happy with it. I don't think it's necessarily bad, but maybe it's because I'm using the same yarn as I did for the Caspar. It's just not sparking joy, and that's how I feel about that. This barely counts as a work in progress, but I'm still going to talk about it. I've started the Clara collar cardigan by Famke Maybe Makes on YouTube. This is as far as I am, and I have to redo it. I'm using a mixture of one strand of this dark green mohair from Hobie, or not mohair, alpaca. One strand of this teal mohair from Hobie, and then one strand of the Twister Cotton Solid in teal. And it's making a very pretty color. This is what it's looking like all together. And I think it's gorgeous. I really like the variegation in that. I'm not very far on it because I wanted to finish a couple of these other projects I have going first, because one of them at least has a time limit and the other ones don't. So I want to finish that one first. I am excited to make the Clara collar cardigan, but I'm probably not going to get it on it. I'm not going to take it like seriously till fall. It is a European shoulder construction top down, which I'm really noticing that I love top-down construction and I hate bottom-up construction. There is lace along the collar and it has lace detail along the button placket, and then the sleeves have a special, I believe it's called lateral braid before the ribbing, and I've never done that before. So I'm really excited for this project because it's going to teach me a bunch of new techniques that I've never done before, but it's also a very wearable cardigan. I think it'll be a staple in my wardrobe, especially in that teal color, because it's halfway between blue and green, which are two colors I'm really gravitating towards right now. Typically, pretty much for my entire life, I've gravitated towards blue, but lately I've been really liking green too, so the teal is the perfect marriage of that. My last work in progress is the one that has a time limit, and the reason that I saved that for last is because there is an acquisition attached to it, so I wanted to have it at the end so that it's right close to the acquisition. It's in my lovely yellow basket bag, which I got at the thrift store a few years ago. I think I paid $1 for it. I am making the Alley Jumper by Fable Knitwear, Fable Vintage Knitwear. It used to be called the Diagon Alley Jumper, but she's changed it recently to the Alley Jumper, maybe because she didn't want the connection to J.K. Rowling. I don't know. A lot of her sweaters are named after things in Harry Potter, such as the Burrow cardigan, the Minerva cardigan. Personally, I don't like J.K. Rowling because of her anti-trans propaganda, but I also love Harry Potter. It was an integral part of my childhood, so I'm not gonna not enjoy Harry Potter just because the creator is evil. It's become so much more than just her. It's a world in my head and in my family's head, and my niece and my nephew really like it too, and it's very nice that I can share that with them, but I'm not gonna let her ruin that for me because she's ruined so many other things. Anyway, this is the Alley Jumper. I am holding 2 strands of the green alpaca from Hobie. I couldn't find a green that matched this like petrol green that the alpaca is in, so I just used this like forest green. I don't know what color you'd call that. It's color 141 of the Twister Solid. One of these Twister Solids has enough yarn in it to match 2 of these. There's 400 meters in this one and there's 225 meters in this one, so that's great. And the alpaca blaze is color 23, and it makes a nice variegated color. I really like the petrol green, such a deep jewel tone, but it also has a shine kind of to it. I think it's very pretty. And then the more evergreen type green from the Twister Solid yarn, which is a cotton acrylic blend, really grounds it, I think. I think this is a lovely color. This is the entire body of the sweater. It's a cropped fitted sweater. I'm making it in this green color to kind of mimic the Women's Land Army sweaters because I'm being a mixture of a Women's Land Army girl and a Rosie the Riveter woman from the empowerment of the 1940s. I am aware that Rosie the Riveter is not a real person, that that's actually American propaganda trying to glamorize working in factories, but to me, I glamorize the fact that women can work in factories and that we have the ability to have credit cards and make our own decisions nowadays. I really appreciate the freedom. And so this is the beginning of that, the Women's Land Army and the factory workers. So that's what I'm being for Halloween. So I have the body of the sweater done, and this is worked bottom up, which is what helps me realize that I hate working bottom up. I've also finished one entire sleeve. That's what it looks like on. It's pretty fitted at the top, and then it kind of baggier here at the bottom. And it is just, I think this is called bracelet length. I don't know if this is going to stretch when I block it, but I don't like really long sleeves because I wear my sweaters to work and I need to be able to wash my hands without my sleeves getting in the way because I work in a hospital. And then I have started the second sleeve. My camera died because we're going through a heat wave right now and it overheated, but I think it's cool enough now, at least to finish this podcast. I have started the last sleeve. That's how far I am. I just started it yesterday. And this is my acquisition. This is a yarn holder that my husband built me. And I have 2 balls of mohair on there and then I just put the twister solid at the bottom, though it can fit up here. He says it's just a prototype. It's working very well though, so that's really nice. I think that's everything that I have to say about my works in progress, so we'll move right on to future plans. I've mentioned this in a few videos, but I'm not buying new patterns until I've made all of the patterns I already have. That goes for sewing and knitting and crochet. And I'm also trying to be more careful about which patterns I do choose because sometimes I buy a pattern and I don't even want to make it by the time it gets around to making it. I need to have more time between seeing a pattern and buying a pattern so that this doesn't happen anymore. But I have one more pattern I want to make, which is a filet vest pattern. I will link it below. I believe it's by Margot Made This. It's a pattern that has 4 patterns in it. And so I bought 3 yarns to make it. And I just bought this from Yarnspirations online and then they sent it to me. So I have this rich blue color. This is Aunt Lydia's crochet thread classic 10. It's 100% cotton. This is the yarn that the pattern tells you to get. And I've never done filet crochet before, so I really wanted to, you know, get the right thing to make sure that it's turning out right. Out of this blue yarn, I'm going to do the checkerboard version. The blue is my favorite color, so I'm going to start that as soon as some of these other whips are off of my hooks or needles. And then I also got this rich green yarn, which I'm going to make the leaf version with. I think that that'll be very nice for spring and probably summer too. All of these I'll obviously wear a lot, but it's nice to have different colored tops for different days. Like this would also work for St. Patrick's Day. I don't know if there's a blue day, but I do have this red yarn as well, which I'm going to make the heart version with, and that'll be good for Valentine's Day. But the fact that it's red is also very good because I'm in a union and we're in bargaining right now. We wear red to show solidarity. This will be useful for that as well. I'm going to make those 3 vests, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do like the corsetting down the side because I think that that'll be really hard to do up and make me not want to wear it. So I'm thinking for one version of doing buttons down one side and then the other side's closed, and then I just kind of like maneuver it over my head and do up the buttons. For another one, I was thinking of doing side ties. So just making it so that there's ties that tie at the waist, just one on each side, and then those bows are decorative as well. That might be nice for the red one because that's more with the hearts. It's pretty curly and frilly. And that's my plans for that. And that's everything that I've made in the last few months, my current projects, and my plans for the upcoming months. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too hectic with my new puppy and my camera dying. I'm really excited to share all of my crafts with you guys, and I'm really pleased that you guys are enjoying my videos. I have almost 400 subscribers, which is crazy. Like, that's just like an absurd number. Like, if I think about it, my chapter for the union has 332 people, so I have more subscribers than my chapter, and I don't even know everybody in my chapter. Anyway, thanks for being here. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, perhaps comment below what you're making. I'd love to know, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye. I gotta go. It's fine. She just was eating my mop. I thought that she was eating the cat's food, which isn't allowed. She's a very snuggly girl and very beautiful. We got her from the kennel. So she's a rescue, and you can see this ear has been kind of, there's a bit out of it, and she has tar down the side of her body. So she was on the streets for a bit. They say she's 7 months old. She's a lab cross. They think with that, like, is it Weimheimer or War? It's like a German dog that's for like hunting and stuff. They think she's crossed with that. So she's gonna be quite large. But she is a sweetheart. And I just couldn't stop calling her Sweetheart when I first met her. So her name's Sweetheart, Sweetie for short. Well, Sweetie's what we call her. Even though her full Christian name is Sweetheart. She goes by sweetie. She doesn't really know her name yet because we've only had her for 2 days. And she didn't have a name before that. And she's just a baby.